What is up, everybody? Josh here again, and today we have an Icarus Week 149 update. Hey, the Null Sector has arrived. We're going to be going over some of the key details about the Null Sector and some more stuff and things. Let's get into it, shall we? Icarus Week 149 brings the Icarus Null Sector, the much-awaited expansion to the New Frontiers expansion, or DLC. Basically, it's a hardcore survival challenge, new missions, NPCs, and all kinds of stuff, like 3 additional talent points as well if you complete a certain mission. They do have kind of like a Null Sector trailer, and we're going to show that to you real quick.
Welcome to the Null Sector, our first true hardcore experience.
No matter what they try from orbit, they just can't get a clear picture of what's down there.
You'll have no map, no external supply pods, and incredibly limited resources. Everything you need, you'll have to bring in with you. Even the creatures here have been mutated with exotics. The Null Sector will also include the debut of our new approach to missions. These are more immersive, engaging, and will include our first inclusion of NPCs you'll meet along the way.
My team are badly injured. We ran out of food and water days ago.
The Null Sector will be free for everyone who owns New Frontiers. It is a true hardcore experience for the players who want that extra challenge. The Null Sector, coming soon to Icarus.
And of course, this is only available if you have New Frontiers expansion or DLC. You do have to have that, and it is currently $30. It does go on sale quite often if you haven't picked it up yet, but if you haven't picked it up yet, I'd highly recommend it because it is probably one of the best expansions for Icarus to date. And of course, it's a difficult experience, as we mentioned, the hardcore, which means that it's going to be hard for you to survive down there. And there's multiple reasons why that is. We do have a guide on our channel if you're interested in checking out the Null Sector. It's a Null Sector guide. We'll put a link in the description down below and a link up top right now at the top of your screen. It'll help you out with a ton of things that you may want to bring to the Null Sector. Null Sector does have scarce resources. There are 4 resources that are currently unavailable in the Null Sector, such as wood, fiber, oxide, and of course water. There's no water down in the Null Sector. In our guide video, we kind of show you how to counter all that. The Null Sector also does not have a map per se. It does have a map. We'll show you here shortly what it looks like, but it doesn't actually have a map. But there are now new trail beacons to help with the map limitations. It kind of reminds you kind of like breadcrumbs. You also can't use the OEI or bring down a drop pod or any of that stuff down in the Null Zone. There's also a slew of new immersive missions, including missions that involve NPCs as well. And of course, all the new 8 missions they have in total can be launched in open world as an operation. And of course, the mission, the Null Sector Finality, it will give you 3 additional character talent points, which is pretty nice. And of course, finally, we have the Ashlands and the Ice Sheet. So there are 2 different areas, 3 different debuffs, actually, technically now. They've added an additional debuff into one of the Ice Sheet sections of the Null Sector. And they show you the picture of Mr. Stompy here. The Ashlands is a volcanic maze of sorts, and it is a freaking maze, honestly. And of course, the Ice Sheet is a Arctic biome. You move slower in the Arctic biome, but your food spoils less. And of course, in the arid region, you do have a 500% water consumption debuff at all times. And your freezers cannot produce ice. Of course, the Null Sector is their version of doing something different with missions and stuff, and it is a brand new experience in its entirety. So we're going to go around the Null Sector a little bit and show you all the new stuff and things, and try to keep the spoilers as low as we can. So this is the Ashlands, or what I like to call the arid region of the Null Sector. The arid region does have a little bit of a debuff that you need to kind of know about, and that is because it's extremely arid, and there is a 500% water consumption debuff while you're in this area. So it's going to be really hard for you to keep water. So you want to make sure you always have water. So like the water can is a pretty good tool, I think, for this area. It's going to have a lot of water. You can water your animals because they also get the air debuff, as you can see right here on our MOA. it has the water consumption debuff. And of course, it's pretty hot here as well. You might want to use the desert saddle on most of your mounts in this area. There's also a ton of creatures down here that want to kill you, like stone jaws. There's dracs down here. There's spiders. There's also exotic infused animals down here as well that you can actually skin for exotics that you can straight up just upload. There's also strikers here, arid strikers, and they're quite dangerous. Probably be best if you bring a gun or at least some decent arrows. There's also the Arctic or ice sheet region of the Null sector, and that has its own debuffs as well. There's two different ones. The first one we're going to talk about is intensely frigid, which is actually a buff. It's negative 50% rate of food spoiling, so your food spoils 50% slower here. And that's on the bottom or very first part when you come out of the cave. Also keep in mind there's like polar bears in this Arctic zone, so it's quite dangerous, as well as Arctic striders and all that good stuff. You'll also want to definitely bring plenty of concrete structures to build with in the Arctic zone because of the snow. If you use a sloped structure like this right here, the snow won't actually destroy it. And of course you got the giant roars as well. And they like to kill you. Hey, stay away from him. Oh, that was good. Flick's not good. Flick's not good. Hey. Get out of here. So when you're in this portion of the biome, you're going to notice there is another debuff, and this is called Extreme Chill. So basically what this one is, it has the rate of food spoilage, and then plus it has plus 50% food consumption. You use food 50% faster, but it doesn't spoil 50% faster, I guess. There's all kinds of structures and stuff around here for you to cross, like bones and sinew-looking parts like that right there. Use those and you could bridge across, or you can use your own structures. I would use concrete up here since it snows a lot, but if I had to pick, the upper ice sheet would probably be a little bit better, since in the bottom ice sheet you have the intensely frigid, which is the rate of food spoiling, minus 50%, minus 20% movement speed, so you're 20% slower, and you also have the food consumption. So you not only do you have the food consumption and rate of spoiling in this one, but you also have the reduced movement speed, which kind of sucks. And of course it's pretty foggy down here as well in the bottom portion. So there's that. That's pretty much it for the biomes. Let's go over a few more little things about the Null sector that you need to know. There are many missions that are available for the Null sector. If you go to operations, we are in an open world right now, just to let you know, but there are several missions available that you can do. And they'll kind of teach you or tell you what you need to do in those missions. And then, of course, at the very end of those missions, you're going to notice that there is a Null sector finality, and that's going to give you the additional points. That's actually the only one I haven't done yet so far, but all the other ones do require a large amount of resources and stuff for you to be down here in the Null sector. So you want to bring in pretty much everything that you need when you come into the Null sector. But there are plenty of new missions available. So that increases the amount of missions or operations that are available in New Frontiers quite a bit, actually. Of course, in Tier 3, we have a new unlock, the Prototype Trail Beacon right here, and it's made in the machining bench, and you can make the Prototype Trail Beacon and the tool itself that actually places down beacons. And the last thing we'll mention is these little trail beacons right here, and these trail beacons basically can be linked together to make a line on your map in the Null sector. We did cover this in our Null sector guide video, but we're going to go over it real shortly just because I think it's pretty important. On the Null sector map, you're going to notice that the Null sector, for one, is actually in the bottom part of the Prometheus map. And they've changed the map also. This is going to be in the notable improvements section, but we'll go ahead and show you right now. The map of Prometheus has actually been updated, and it is a nicer map, if you ask me. And then down here, it's kind of a little bit more distinguished as far as what you can find out and all that good stuff. But you can see that the Null sector has no topography as far as on the map. You do have a map, but it's just lines, and that's all it is. And these right here are the trail beacons that you can link together. And there are some missions, or at least there was, that will let you be able to do this and make you make beacons. But we're going to show you how to make the beacons and how to place them and how to connect them. If you're in a machining bench or you're a fabricator, whatever you use, if you type in trail, you'll get the trail beacons here, and you'll have the beacon tool, which requires gold wire, copper wire, steel ingot, platinum sheath, and glass, as well as the prototype trail beacon itself, which is gold wire, copper wire, steel ingot, steel screw, and glass. And these are 5 per craft, so you need to make probably several of these for you to make a really long trail on the map. So once you get the tool out, you'll notice you see a little ghost blueprint of a beacon. All you have to do is left click to start linking beacons together. Now beacons will go, there's water again. Beacons will go 100 meters away from each other. So basically you could go 100 meters away from your previously placed beacon before it's out of range, as you can see here. And whenever you do so, you're going to notice that you have a line start to appear on your map. You can place them as close or as far away as you want, but just up to 100 meters apart. You can make multiple trails. So for example, if you want to start on the end of this trail right here, all you got to do is hit E on the beacon. Putting E on the beacon will link it or unlink it. As you can see here, you can also hit R to completely unlink beacons and start your new trail. So this is going to start a new trail. And we're going to go over here, we're going to hold R, unlink, and then hit E, and then this is going to start linking this trail. So basically that is the beacons and how they work. Now, if you start up the first mission, it's going to help you as far as how to get to the Null Zone, but the Null Zone entrance starts right here. You can't put your dropship beacons, or you can put stuff in your dropships and move them right here, and then move them the rest of the way to your base, or make your base inside of the Null Zone right here, or the Arctic Zone down in here. But what you can do is you can put a OEI outside right here and drop stuff down if you want to as well. So having a FOB or forward operating base inside of the Null sector probably will be smart, because it is a very, very long run from here all the way out, even with the MOA and full modules and full talents. So bringing down water barrels or water containers is probably a really smart idea whenever you come down to the Null sector. You don't have to bring down this many. This is just stuff we've pretty much made, but also bring some gas with you as well. And I'm not going to spoil it for you why. But yeah, basically that is the Null sector. We try to keep the spoilers down as low as we can, but if you do have any questions about the Null sector, comment down below and we'll answer them for you. I do know pretty much everything about it at its current state in the game. This week we also get some notable improvements, and we're going to show you all these that are very important. We mentioned the map changes for Prometheus, and we showed you that. Looks like there's some new crates for deploying animals when purchased from the workshop. They also changed the tier 4 water trough to now provide a new filtered trough water modifier to mounts and tames that drink from it. It provides a food and water consumption reduction and a stamina regen buff. That's really nice. Also, water troughs now work as a container instead of a battery. So a battery is something that stores like water or electricity, and a container is basically something that can be fed. So the containers can now be fed, which means that you can now use the water tanks on the water troughs to feed your animals water. And you've probably seen this just a minute ago, but workshop items now use purple background in their inventory to help them stand out. And they basically made the portable jerry can or the biofuel tank to work kind of like the water does now. You can fill it up with a jerry can in hand, and of course you can transfer it as well. And we'll show you how that works. And an important note is that every single rock, tree, etc. has been refreshed on the Prometheus map since they have made a change. So you're not going crazy. Those ores inside of that cave that you've already harvested are there for a reason. Now, every single piece of workshop gear has a purple background, as you can see here. And we're going to bring down an animal and show you the new thing for the animal. How about a chicken? Here comes dinner. So we're just going to go ahead and plop it down. And you can see it's kind of like frosty now. So it's like a frosty, I don't know. And then, poof, a chicken pops out. Nice. And then all you gotta do is name your animal and then deep fry it. You can't have any more animals in this prospect. It lags way too much anyway. We'll sit here and wait for Mr. Fixflow to drink from the water trough. Alrighty, we got a buffalo. Well, I guess he's trying to get the water. Alrighty, let's see if he gets a buff. The best water trough in the game. Titanium plate. Okay, there it is. There's the buff. We got to see it now. It's filtered trough water. The water has undergone a filtration process, negative 15 water and food consumption, and plus 100% stamina regeneration. Lasts for 10 minutes. That's pretty good, actually. And now with the 2 tanks that you can actually craft in the game, you can now fill up water troughs. And you can see that water trough is now filling up from that water tank. And we'll go ahead and disconnect it and show you it fills up from the water barrel as well. And there we go. So both of the types of water barrels that we have in this game will fill up water troughs now. They didn't actually fill up before. So now that is fixed. And now you can use the biofuel tanks a little bit more. They're a little bit more useful now, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and put 3 of these MXC canisters that are completely full of biofuel in our bar. All we got to do is bring up that canister, and then you can hit X to fill it with biofuel. So we're going to do that for all of these right here. And you can see the amount of biofuel is going up in the biofuel tank. Now you can actually fill them up with canisters. Of course, you can also withdraw by hitting X as well. And that's going to fill up the canisters again. So if you have a large amount of biofuel stocked up, you can just go ahead and hit X and fill up your canisters with it. And of course, next week is going to be reserved for any bug fixes for the Null sector and everything that is in that area. Please don't forget to report bugs if you see them. If you report them and then they fix them, then it's going to make it a much better game. If there's any large bugs, they are going to push hot fixes for that. That is something really nice that they said. Also, we're kind of restrained for time because we're actually trying to go to sleep a little earlier tonight. So we're going to go ahead and skim over this changelog. Oh, okay. I get it now. So we have medium, large workshop crates. I thought it was just a little different, but yeah, it is different. Let's check those medium and large ones out. So we showed you the small one. Let's try a dog and go ahead and grab one of them, and then a horse. So that would probably be the medium and large crates that they're talking about. So as we said, we showed you the small one. It's small. This is the medium sized one right here. And of course, that's for like dogs and stuff like that. And of course, this one right here, this large, huge container that now has been added to the game is for horses and whatnot. So if you click on that, a horse will pop out like so. That's pretty cool, actually. And the same thing with this for a dog. And of course, we got another dinner. Very nice. You can sit on the toilet. We're going to skim over the fix section. Should be able to fill up the portable water can now, where it was bugged in the past. And several things that was in the improvements this week. And we'll skim over the future content. Updated bull that we may be able to milk in the future. And we're going to have cows. Don't forget, you can only milk cows, not bulls.
Morning! Yeah, I hope you don't mind. I got up a little early, so I took the liberty of milking your cow for you. Yeah, it took a little while to get her warmed up. She sure is a stubborn one. Then, pow, all at once.
We don't have a cow. We have a bull.
I'll brush my teeth.
Well, I mean, you can, well, let's not get into that. Talking about that flamethrower again. Nice, nice. Looks like a new grenade item. And they go on to talk a little bit about their Great Hunt boss achievements. So they're going to have an expansion or DLC, I don't know what it will be, called Great Hunts. And then I did hear that next year we'll have Dangerous Horizons come out. And they're working on the cow. Moo. Giant cat armor. Yep, definitely getting a cow and a bull. Maybe we'll get some beef. No way. Assault rifle? Looks like we might be getting a ice mammoth shield. And they talk about the ice building tier we talked to them about in the last interview we did. Roosters? Looks like we might be getting roosters, so maybe we can get some breeding of chickens soon. That would be amazing. Added chick creature setup. So yeah, we're gonna have chicks. And that's it for this changelog. Huge one, actually. Look at that, it's still going. Look at it! Look at it! And that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget, if you like what you see, to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Subscribing will get you weekly Icarus update videos just like this one. Also, be aware we are having a 24-hour stream of Icarus. These are incredibly rare for us to do, but we will be doing one at noon tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. So look forward to that 24-hour stream of the Null sector, and we'll be digging into the Null sector and doing all the stuff and things it has to offer. And hopefully, we'll see you next time. Peace.